Direct from Foxborough, Massachusetts, the gem of Norfolk County, and taped at the studios of Foxborough Cable Access. It's Foxborough Central. And here's your host, Bob Hickey.
And welcome to another fantastic episode of Foxborough Central. I'm Bob Hickey, your host, and I thank you for taking the time to join me and my guest as we talk about the people, events, and organizations that make Foxborough truly the gem of Norfolk County. One of the wonderful things about this program is we are allowed to go in depth into the candidates who are running for various offices, local, state, and we are honored today to be joined by our state representative, the 1st Bristol District, Jay Barrows. Fred J. Barrows, how are you doing, sir?
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you so much. And this program, as fans of Foxborough Central know, is really going to be all about you, your campaign, your service, and what you want us, your loyal constituency here in Foxborough, to know about you and why we should vote for you again. So let's have at it. First of all, this is the 1st Bristol District, and it is comprised of
all of Foxborough, Mansfield, and parts of Mansfield and parts of Norton.
Okay, and you've been representing us since 2006.
2006 was the election in November and was successful, and then have been in since January of 2007.
So we've got a 10-year member, and the seat is contested every 2 years?
It can be. The last few I didn't have an opponent, but yes, it can be contested every 2 years. So we're back at it again, and we're ready to go and ask for people's vote this November.
You're enthusiastic?
I'm ready to go.
You want to do this?
I want to do this.
Why?
Well, you know, it's truly an honor to represent 3 phenomenal towns and 3 phenomenal communities, and to see that the work we've been able to do collectively together, to see the work that our delegation, if you will, Senator Timilty, Representative Poirier, who's been in a while, Representative Howitt, who handles parts of Norton, Representative Luke Kafka from Stoughton, who handles Sharon and parts of Mansfield. So we really do work bipartisan. This isn't about Republican or Democrat. It's about hiring somebody to go up there and represent the communities of Mansfield, Norton, and Foxborough. And quite frankly, bottom line to me is experience matters. And the people that I've met along the way, the collaborations that have been formed, the work that we all do together, I think you can look outside and see that there's been a difference made. I hope.
Well, you know what? I feel as though there has been, and I'm going to, full disclosure, I've always been a big fan, but it's because I knew you before you did this. But at the same time, it always seemed to me that this was what you were supposed to be doing. I don't know if that makes sense, so I'm going to explain a little bit. I first came to know you through my work with the Foxborough JCs, right, and doing the old auction for the human services auction, right, that we would do here. Right. And you're always a presenter because you represented the Tri-Town Chamber of Commerce. You're a past president, and always promoting business and promoting giving back and promoting that connection between nonprofits, government, and the business community. So I've always known you from that standpoint, right, and as the years have gone by for me. You never get older, but for me, and our time has changed our roles. My role as selectman, your role in so many different things in the town of Mansfield. It just seemed like a natural progression. So let's talk about that. Let's start off with, how did you get to the point where you were qualified in 2006? I know you're eminently qualified now, but back in 2006, as I'm standing out there holding a sign for you at the Mansfield High School at the polling station, what was it that made me do that, and why you?
Well, I think that having been involved in the community and really respect what volunteers do, like you, the JCs gave me the great training with that. We ran the haunted house, and remember when we came to Foxborough with hat in hand saying, okay, can we work together with the Foxborough JCs and pull it off? And we did for a number of years.
For those of you who don't remember, Mr. Barrows was once a young JC in Mansfield, and I was once a young JC in Foxborough, and where Chestnut Green is now, there used to be the absolute smackinest haunted house ever. Too bad you'll never get to see it, but
I know. We did. Camp Lincoln Hill was another area that we all worked on together. But when I came back into Mansfield in '86, having lived in Houston and New Jersey, and brought my family. And my mother had started an insurance agency in Mansfield back in '77. Mother being from Foxborough, and I joined her in '94. And so when I landed and kind of got out of the corporate world, when you get into that business, it is about community and meeting people. And so we soon picked up the baton and started with Downtown Business Association. And actually, here in the next few days, we'll be celebrating our 20th Family Fun Night, where we close Main Street down, and we hope folks from Foxborough will come down and enjoy the festivities. It's a great time. Prior to that, myself with a number of folks started Together We Can in Mansfield, and we started with involving activities of our youth, because we all had young kids, and so what are we going to do? We paired with the Hockomock Y, and we got it branched open at the Balcom Street facility in Mansfield. It was an old public school that had been abandoned. We went out as young people and raised the money necessary to get that thing open, and that's spurned the development of Foxborough and the relationship that we made with Invincis, and them donating the 23 acres of land and working with the Spear family and the Crafts and Invincis themselves to make that initial investment turn into a remarkable facility.
What a great resource. It's
unbelievable, and we're so blessed, not only for Foxborough, but for the surrounding communities that enjoy the indoor and the outdoor pool and the summer camp programs that go on. And I, earned a seat on the YMCA board, and before the state rep thing, I was chairman of the board, and we got the Foxborough branch open, and we're thrilled to be a part of that and a part of that legacy. I spent 10 years on the Mansfield Housing Authority as a governor appointment. Learned a lot from that. It was a tremendous experience, and so I've been able to use some of those memories, if you will, of how things work with the HCD. Was on the Industrial Development Commission, and then under my leadership time at the Tri-Town, which was 3 terms as president, we created a regional economic team and have continued that today. So I've always been involved, spent numerous hours with the United Way, Greater Attleboro, Taunton on their board, going to meetings, and that's when you're supposed to be working too, so you're trying to manage both. But I reached a point in 2006 when, unfortunately, the passing of Mike Coppola and then Ginny finishing out his term allowed an open seat. And it was like, okay, if there's ever going to be a chance to get elected to Beacon Hill, it's during an open election. And so I called a number of friends that I had made over the course of time and said, hey, will you support me? And we had a great race, and we had some success. It was a time of change. It was when we first elected Deval Patrick, who won big in our area. But I was the only Republican elected that year, not only in Massachusetts to an open seat, but I think it was 16 other states throughout New England and halfway down in the south and out to Ohio, because the Republicans got crushed.
Right.
And I learned very, very quickly, as one of 15 after elected as a Republican in a House of 160, I was not getting anything done by myself, and I wasn't going to get it done without help and cooperation from the other side. And so I'm not a partisan, if you will. It's about the district. It's about working and earning the respect. And quite frankly, as one of that first 15 Republicans got in there, now we're up to, I think, 33. Everybody knows my name. Mm-hmm. And I've worked on commissions. I've been on the ethics committee that has had to expel a couple of members for not following the rules. It's been really interesting. And, so I've been appointed to a number of leadership roles and have worked on things on the retiree health insurance issues, OPEB, to Medicare, Medicaid, issues around reducing cost of health care and the delivery of it, and many, many others. So it's really been a great pleasure. But using those people I met, if you will, in a former life, and staying in touch with them, is still very active today, still hold a seat on the YMCA Board of Directors, very active in their annual campaign for Reach Out for Youth and Families. So proud of the work that Foxborough has done, as well as the entire organization. Programs like Darkness to Light came in by the Y and certainly have been helpful in training folks in Foxborough and led to the mandatory reporter bill that we're working on now, which is moving through the House. That was
and
approved.
that's actually fairly much modeled over the local piece.
It is the local bill. It is local, absolutely the local bill. So we're hoping that we can make some headway. I had a meeting last week on it, and that seems to be moving in the right direction. The stuff that I learned back in the good old days on the Housing Authority, working with John Mitchell Moore, we're trying to get
here in Foxborough.
Here in Foxborough, down on Walnut and North High, that land that is owned by the state, shifted over to the Housing Authority to build about 95 bedrooms for senior housing, and that's
Really?
moving through. In fact, it went through the Senate. At least they got one of their votes out of the way last week. So
Department of Capital and Asset Management has that, and you're working to get that transferred.
Yep, to the Foxborough Housing Authority.
How cool.
Yeah, it's really, in a community that has 35% of its residents are over 65, we need to have additional housing, and that will be awesome if we can pull it off.
That's a huge asset to the community as far as keeping folks able to stay in the community that we grew up with.
Right. So a lot of good things, but those are some things I learned in the past. So I didn't wake up one morning and say, hey, let me go try to be state rep. It was really already having a constituency, if you will, with those businesses, with the youth organizations, coached Little League and soccer and all that stuff with the kids. And but they reached
father-daughter dance.
Yeah, the father-daughter dance. Yeah, that's.
And there's so many things we could sit here, but
yeah, it's great. And but one of the blessings that I've had is my children, 3 out of 4 work in the agency, and we just opened one here in Foxborough back in October.
Our new neighbors here on Central Street. So.
Colby, my oldest, is here and running that office and having great success. But they all have taken a community role. Colby's in the Rotary. Caitlin is organizing, my daughter is organizing a 3rd Downtown Business Association Family Fun Night. And you know what you've been on that committee up here on Founders Day, so you know what that's like to organize 120 businesses and nonprofits to come down and set up and pick up and have a great night. So she's
much
been
credit
doing that.
goes to the Foxborough Founders Day Committee. They put in so much hard work on that. I can only imagine what your daughter is working with.
It's amazing. Chris is involved in Norton. He lives in Norton. He's on the planning board in Norton, so he's learning some of those skill sets and very active with youth sports in his community. So all 3 of them have taken an active role. Colby's on the Y Board of Managers here in Foxborough, and he's also on the Children's Advocacy Center in Fall River, helping with those issues. And so I'm really proud of all 3 of them, and they're working real hard. My other son, my oldest, is out in Alaska. He's working for a private bank and doing really, really well, and his wife's a nurse practitioner. So since then and now, family's growing, but everybody's working really hard, and community is really important to us. So I'm really proud of.
Congratulations on the family doing so well, and that a lot of them are still here.
Which is really neat. So
I think from a parent standpoint, that's something we all hope for.
We want to create opportunity. Want to create opportunity for my children. Want to create opportunity for my grandchildren. That, like me, I'm a 3rd generation Mansfield guy. People before us did a lot of work to create,
Well, I'm going to pull back into that. And by the way, we're speaking with Jay Barrows, who is running for re-election to the 1st Bristol District House of Representatives. He's been a representative for nearly 10 years and is seeking to do it some more. Your work is legendary up on Beacon Hill. You don't miss votes. You go up there. You're a participant, an active participant, but you're also here all the time. I always see you at town meetings. I see you at Eagle Scout ceremonies, at openings. So where do you find the time?
You just keep moving. You have a good calendar and a great aide and a couple of interns. But no, I've been very fortunate, and my business has allowed me to do that. Again, with the role of my children in it. I know my mother would be really proud of all of them for the work that they're doing. But it does allow you to do it, and you get where you got to go. In fact, you mentioned the votes. I just, for fun today, I checked to see how many votes that have been cast since I've been on Beacon Hill. I know I've been criticized for a few, but there were 2,297
How many?
votes. 2,297 votes cast, and I haven't missed one. So I've got a 100% voting record, and I will, Lord willing, get through the rest of the session and finish a little higher than that. So that's important. The ribbon cuttings and to be at Eagle Scout things, the work that, and you're a proud Eagle parent, to see the work that these young people are doing in their community, the leadership roles that they take. They really are the future leaders of our nation, and they deserve all the respect that we can give them. Town meetings, it's important to be out and about. I've been to all but one town meeting in Foxborough since I was elected. Norton the same, and Mansfield as well. And I was going to town meetings before that, as an active participant in local government.
Well, I remember you're coming and speaking on behalf of the Business Owners Association. I also remember you, and I don't know if you remember this, but I remember before any of this, when we were doing our downtown reconstruction project, and I was a member of the Board of Selectmen, you were the de facto representative of all the businesses in Foxborough.
Right.
You weren't even living in Foxborough, which was amazing to me, but at the same time, it made sense because you were that guy, and you were the one who really had his finger on the pulse of the business needs and of the challenges, the gives and the takes, because we had a lot of disruption. And
there was a tremendous amount of disruption.
You were the natural. So anyway, you've always filled that leadership role when it came to business, relations with government, that sort of thing. So it just seems like a natural step. I'm going to get to the current campaign and why you want to do this again or continue doing it. We're going to remind folks that they can always get in touch with Jay Barrows, who is our representative in the First District, First Bristol District, calling him at 617-722-2488. He's there, I won't say 24 hours a day, but he's there often enough where you can get a hold of him. You can always email him, which is my preferred method. I always get a hold of him at f.jbarrows@mahouse.gov. Of course, he's running for re-election, which is why we're having this program, and he has a website. I'm sure that's shocking to everybody. We all have websites now. votebarrows.org. votebarrows.org. Or you can be his friend on Facebook. Jay has plunged into the netherworld of Facebook. I assure you owe that to some of your aides and interns.
They're helping me along the way.
Congratulations on that.
The latest news. Yep.
So we are here in 2006. There are issues facing us. There are things you want to accomplish. What might they be?
Well, back in the beginning, obviously, there was a great need to organize the sewer. So we've talked about that in previous shows, but that was critical to our economic development as well as the community itself, to get Foxborough some flow, to get Mansfield some flow, and Norton as well.
Now, I know this is your program. I'm going to give a little bit of props here. You've done a phenomenal job of funneling these past 8 years through the labyrinth of education and support and votes and regulatory agencies, as far as getting flow to be able to be put back into the ground outside of the randomness of geography, to be more scientifically based as far as how do you recharge your aquifer. And I've learned so many things about aquifers that I never thought I would know. So a lot of that credit goes to you, but seriously, a lot of the credit for this entire project, from the local sewer and water commissioners to the local leaders, but none of that would have happened had somebody not championed the cause. So if we talk about nothing else, I could do an entire series on just this project. So I know it's not fair to ask you to give me a 1.5 minute summary, but because we only have 8 minutes left, and I want to get to a lot more things, I'm going to challenge you to do that.
Well, I think that most folks will enjoy revitalization, if you will, of downtown, of our community right here in Foxborough. We're going to see Water and Sewer Commissioners working now to determine capacities and flows and all that other good stuff that we can do around the common, so we can spur some additional economic development. We're working to get sewer licenses that will kind of fit into those economic nodes, if you will, which were approved at town meeting.
So you're saying the work isn't all done?
No, it isn't done. It isn't.
You're saying
done.
That there's still work to be done?
There's still work to be done. We've got mentioned earlier the Route 140 corridor study. It all ties in. All of this stuff ties in so that you have sewer infrastructure, you have electric that you can count on, you have water that you can count on, the investments that this community and others have made in those infrastructures, because we've had to do it. But more importantly, what we've been able to do through some of those 2,297 votes is support education, local education. The Foxborough High School got redone.
What a great project that was.
Exactly. We've got a new town hall going up. We're ready to take on, the Ahern was done, we're ready to go to the Borough. We're working with the school building authority now. We've met with those folks and we've testified on behalf of Foxborough to do that.
At Beacon Hill,
at
because
Beacon Hill.
there's a reimbursement
Correct.
formula in place, and depending upon need and the type and size and scope of the project, you get put in a certain order in the
Right.
funding, and that funding can be
Significant.
correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't it 55%?
It could be near that, but probably we land around 49 to 51, somewhere in that neighborhood. But it's still a half a dollar of somebody else's is helpful.
So cycling back to your volunteer time with Cable Access, I got my education when then Treasurer Tim Cahill.
Yep.
I don't know whether you brought him down or not, but he was there also helping out, and
Yep.
he gave us the skinny on how the whole funding formula works. I was like, wow, that's really interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting stuff. So, and we've been successful in Norton, seeing their school, high school, rebuilt, if you will, and reconditioned. Same in Mansfield. So, doing a lot of those things, which is important. You know, preserving local aid, being a voice for communities that are like Foxborough and Mansfield and Norton, that are people are working hard every day. The number of people that get on the train and go to Boston and you know, bring their tax dollars with them or leave them, if you will. It's important that we get some of that back, and to see some of the projects, the parking lot down on County Street done. That was a federal project that required some coaxing of former Congressman Barney Frank to say, hey, instead of digging a hole to China, can we make a parking lot? Because you know what I heard in 2006, in 5 and 4, prior to that, as a member of the chamber, was, you know, we can't find a place to park in Mansfield. And Mansfield would say, well, it's not our burden to create more. If you need a spot, we did something in Norton, we did something in Foxborough. So we were able to get those things done. Tax increment financing that I learned about before I was a state rep, working with Lynn Tokarczyk at Business Strategies, where we did Ralph C. Hagan, we got them a TIF, which is where the state gives you an income tax credit for your, based on a percentage of your investment.
And which we in Foxborough took advantage
Did
of.
Schneider Electric.
Encouraging Schneider Electric to honor their reinvestment for the infrastructure and reconditioning the plants. So absolutely.
I mean, it's huge. So you see companies like you know, Schneider to stay and invest here. We talk about work to be done, you know, to create some sort of transportation link between the communities. We're going to continue the bike trail from the Mansfield Airport down through Norton. We've got that on the infrastructure plan, transportation infrastructure plan for 2018. It's going to create a whole opportunity for all of us. And now I want to see us take it this way and connect here in Patriot Place and into Walpole to see, again, working collaborative with everybody. How do we do that? And how do we use the latest and greatest technology to accomplish it? Maybe it's an electric bus. Maybe it doesn't have to be a locomotive or a bud car, but maybe we can do something that can shuttle back and forth quickly and effortlessly and friendly to the environment and all those other things. So there's a lot of work still to be done. I'm on a commission in Norton on the opioid crisis, trying to understand what we can do better, you know, as a society around prevention.
That's very much in the news these days.
It's
and
here in Foxborough.
Every community. It is here in Foxborough.
Yep, it's everywhere.
Whether
Mansfield.
people want to acknowledge it or not.
So working together with the chiefs of police and the fire chiefs, first responders, the medical community to understand that. I participate in a quarterly meeting with Sturdy Hospital to try to get a better understanding what we can do to serve our patients' needs while, you know, bringing costs down and how all that stuff works. So there's a lot to do, and I'm still energized. I still enjoy the job. It truly is an honor to represent communities that have the Patriots on one end, Xfinity Center in the middle, and the Deutsche Bank Championship on Labor Day weekend that's on national TV, all right here in the 1st Bristol District. And the people that come and visit our area, it's phenomenal. I look at Normandy Campground. I look at the ice skating rink on Belcher Road with 3 sheets of ice and people coming in from all over, not New England, but like the Northeast. They're coming, driving miles to play. Premier basketball courts. What a great opportunity there for local, not only local kids, but kids in the region to come in for tournaments and so forth. The number of hotels that are being built, we've got one going in at Patriot Place, we've got another going in at Forbes Crossing. Right. They're going to be filled up. They will fill up. They don't build them if they think they're going to be empty. The restaurants that are being opened and expanded. All of these things and the opportunity for our youth to find a summer job is huge around here as opposed to many other areas around the Commonwealth. So we've got a lot of things going. I know I've mentioned how proud I am of the Y. The number of youth that we're hiring at the Y, it's like 600 kids. It's their first job.
That's great.
You know, it's really, it's awesome. So we've got a lot of gems in the whole district, and it is an honor for me to represent them. And people don't always agree with me. I don't always agree with people, but you know, we find out that through collaboration and sharing ideas that you can actually get something done. I said it before, and I'll say it again. It's not partisan. It's about going up there and fighting for your district. And when the chairman sees you coming, he knows where you're coming for. So that's what really makes it, enjoyable. And then again, to see some things get accomplished.
And then I'll cycle back to the very beginning, the new senior housing that seems to be coming down the pike. It's things like that really are a lasting contribution. And
yeah, it's a real game changer. And again, even road improvements, road infrastructure, to see some things done. We've advocated for raising the Chapter 90 money, so guys like Roger Hill can get out there. Foxborough is beautifully paved. The work that the folks are using the meals tax for road improvement and OPEB reduction, very well run. And I was so proud of Randy Scollins and his efforts to achieve this bond rating that is like second to none.
AAA.
You don't do any better than that. So it's a true testament to the board and to the town manager, Bill Keegan, and Mary Beth, and all of them doing a great job.
I am glad to hear that you're supportive of our locals, and we'll see if our locals are supportive of you as well. They should be. I'm going to give you the last word. We are so out of time. My apologies. Again, we're talking to our state representative, Jay Barrows, who is seeking re-election to serve us, our community, and the 1st Bristol District for the State House of Representatives. You can get in touch with Jay if you have any questions at 617-722-2488. You can email him at f.jbarrows@mahouse.gov, or you can be his friend on Facebook. Check him out on the election webpage at votebarrows.org. Jay, thank you so much for taking the time to come and share, and we can feel your passion and your enthusiasm and your level of experience that you bring to the table. So what's the last word?
Well, I just think that this election, it's a crazy election season. It always gets a little silly of what goes on, not only local but nationally. And I think in this election and about the 1st Bristol District, it is about experience, and experience really does matter. It's knowing where people that are going to help and assist, and maybe they've helped in other projects, will help us again. It's about working with the governor, who is very accessible and who has been very supportive of my efforts in our whole contingent collaborators, if you will, everybody that represents a part of this area working together. And I think he sees that, and that's what he has to do as well on Beacon Hill, is work together with people. And it's not about one idea or another, it's about sharing ideas and working together. So experience really does matter. I hope the community of Foxborough will re-elect me and let me serve again at their pleasure. And I really ask for their vote in November. And I'm sure I'll see you before the election, and maybe do another quick update and see what's going on.
You're always welcome here at Foxborough Cable Access, and you are always welcome as well, my gentle listeners, to learn about the politics that are affecting us and the people who want to make a difference. So if you believe that Jay Barrows is the man to make that difference, I'm sure we'll see you at the polls in November as we cast our vote for 1st Bristol District Rep. Until then, I'm your host, Bob Hickey, thanking you for joining us, and I hope you have a fantastic day, Foxborough. Take care, everybody.